The galaxy had seen thousands of ships rise and fall, but when a human vessel appeared at the edge of the Orion cluster, most alien races laughed. They mocked its small size, its outdated metal armor, and its primitive design. To them, it looked like a child's toy floating among giants. The Galactic Council, filled with proud civilizations that had ruled the stars for centuries, saw the ship as nothing more than a weak newcomer with no chance of survival. But the humans did not arrive for show. They arrived with purpose. The vessel, called the Dauntless, drifted silently into the orbit of a deserted station. Around it, alien eyes watched from hidden satellites and cloaked cruisers. Whispers moved across channels. Who were these humans? Why had they come so far from their home world? Many believed this would be quick entertainment, another fragile species trying to claim space it could never hold. The laughter spread, careless and loud, across the networks. Inside the Dauntless, Captain Elias sat in his chair. His face was calm, but his eyes carried the weight of someone who knew far more than he revealed. The crew around him worked quietly, their movements sharp and disciplined. Every beep of a console, every signal, every small action spoke of preparation. "Signals from the Council," his first officer said. "They demand identification." Elias gave a small nod. "Send it. Let them know we are human. Let them think we are nothing." The words were strange, but his crew obeyed without question. Across the stars, laughter grew louder. Messages from alien commanders filled the channels, mocking the humans for their boldness. Some called the ship a relic from a forgotten age. Others promised to crush it if it dared to step into Council territory. To them, it was amusing. To the humans, it was expected. The silence inside the ship was heavy, but it was not fear. It was patience. Hours passed. The Dauntless stayed in orbit, unmoving, while more alien vessels gathered in the distance. The Council wanted to make an example. They wanted to remind the galaxy that no small race could challenge their authority. One by one, sleek and powerful ships revealed themselves, surrounding the human craft like predators circling prey. Inside the alien flagships, voices echoed with confidence. "Scan them. Record their failure. Watch how quickly they fall. This will be over in moments." And yet, when the scans came back, something was wrong. The human ship appeared ordinary. Too ordinary. Its weapons were hidden, its energy output small, its engines slow. There was nothing remarkable, nothing dangerous. But that was the first sign, the first shadow of unease. Why would a species cross such dangerous space with nothing more than this fragile vessel? No one had the answer. The Council commander ordered a warning shot. A massive beam of energy burst through the void, grazing the side of the Dauntless. Sparks flared, the hull groaned, but the ship remained steady. No return fire came. No movement, no panic. The humans simply held their course. Inside, Captain Elias stood slowly. His crew turned to him, waiting for the signal they had trained for. "Not yet," he whispered. His voice was calm, steady, almost cold. "Let them believe a little longer." Outside, the mocking continued. Aliens laughed, their messages dripping with arrogance. But in the shadows of the bridge, the humans' eyes were hard as steel. They carried secrets the galaxy could not imagine, and patience was their sharpest weapon. The Council commander, irritated by the lack of response, gave the order to attack. Dozens of alien ships lit up the void with weapons fire. Missiles streaked, beams burned, explosions cracked across the silence of space. The Dauntless vanished in a cloud of fire, swallowed by destruction. To all watching, it looked like the end. Another weak species crushed before it could rise. The laughter became roars of triumph. But then the fire cleared. Through the smoke, the small human vessel emerged, almost untouched. Its armor was scarred, its paint blackened, but the ship still moved with quiet defiance. The laughter faltered. Voices grew silent. For the first time, doubt slipped through the arrogance. The humans had taken the first storm and survived. Inside the ship, Elias finally gave the order his crew had been waiting for. His eyes were cold, but his words carried fire. "Prepare the veil. Let them see what we carry." The crew moved quickly, activating systems that the Council's scans had never detected. The lights inside the ship shifted, humming with strange power. Panels opened, revealing hidden technology no alien had ever seen. In the void, sensors screamed with confusion. Energy readings spiked beyond known limits. The laughter stopped completely, replaced by silence so heavy it felt like the stars themselves were holding their breath. The Dauntless was not what it seemed. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt something it had forgotten: fear. The alien fleets watched in silence as the human ship began to change. To their eyes, it was impossible. The Dauntless, a small vessel mocked as a relic, now glowed with hidden power. Panels along its hull shifted, revealing strange lines of light that pulsed like veins of fire. The scanners of every alien warship filled with warnings and errors, their systems unable to explain what they were seeing. Inside the bridge of the Dauntless, Captain Elias stood firm. His crew moved with quiet discipline, their hands flying over controls that no outsider could ever understand. "The veil is holding," reported the science officer. "Energy output stable." Elias gave a sharp nod. "Good. Let them see a glimpse, but not the heart." His words carried weight, and his crew understood. The galaxy believed humans were weak, simple, primitive. And perhaps that was true once. But this ship carried secrets from the darkest corners of human history. Secrets the galaxy had never been allowed to witness. Until now. Across the Council fleet, panic rippled through the command channels. "What is that energy signature? This cannot be correct. Their reactor is too small. Impossible. Shut down the sensors. They're malfunctioning." But the readings were not errors. The energy blooming from the human ship was real, and it was growing stronger by the second. The Council commander, unwilling to lose face, barked orders. "Destroy it. At once." Dozens of alien cruisers opened fire again, filling space with waves of plasma and burning beams. Explosions tore across the darkness, lighting the void with deadly brilliance. The humans did not dodge. They did not retreat. The Dauntless moved straight through the storm. When the fire cleared again, the human ship still stood. Its shields, once invisible, now shimmered faintly like a second skin of silver light. Damage was minimal. The impossible had become undeniable. Gasps echoed across the alien bridges. Crews stared at their screens in disbelief. For centuries, the Council fleets had ruled unchallenged. No small vessel had ever endured such an attack. And yet, the human craft not only survived, it seemed to grow stronger. Captain Elias gave the next command. His voice was steady, his eyes like cold steel. "Release the first answer." A section of the ship opened, revealing long, silent weapons that had never appeared on any alien design. They did not shine. They did not roar. They simply hummed with quiet power, like predators waiting for the signal to strike. The alien fleets hesitated. For the first time, fear replaced arrogance. "Council Commander," one voice whispered across the channel. "Maybe we should." "Silence!" the commander snapped. "They are only bluffing. End this now." The order was given. Alien ships moved in formation, preparing for a final strike. But the humans did not wait. The Dauntless fired. There was no flash, no explosion. Instead, beams of pure silence cut through the void. Alien shields collapsed as if they had never existed. Armor plates cracked like glass. Massive ships, larger than cities, split apart with no warning, drifting lifeless into the darkness. The galaxy had never seen such a weapon. Across the Council fleet, chaos erupted. Orders clashed. Ships broke formation. Panic consumed disciplined soldiers who, only minutes before, had laughed at the thought of human defiance. Inside the Dauntless, the crew watched without celebration. They did not cheer. They did not smile. Every strike was calculated, every death a step in the path they had chosen long before this day. Elias spoke again, his voice a quiet storm. They must understand. We did not come to beg. We did not come to bow. We came to remind the galaxy that humanity is not to be mocked. His words carried weight, as if he spoke not only to his crew, but to the stars themselves. The alien survivors began to retreat. Proud ships that once boasted power now fled like frightened animals. The laughter of hours ago was gone, replaced by silence and fear. Messages crackled across the channels. Confusion, disbelief, terror. What are they? How can humans wield such power? This should not be possible. But it was possible. It was real. The Dauntless did not chase the fleeing ships. It did not need to. Its message was already written in fire and wreckage across the void. Humanity had revealed only a fraction of its strength, and that fraction had shattered the Council's pride. Yet Elias knew this was only the beginning. He stood on his bridge, staring into the endless black, his expression unreadable. They will regroup, he said quietly. They will send more. They will send everything. His first officer frowned. And us, Captain? What do we do? Elias looked at her, his eyes filled with a weight older than war. We wait. We prepare. And when they come, we show them the truth they fear most. Outside, the stars burned quietly, as if watching the first sparks of a storm that would soon engulf the galaxy. The humans had taken their first step into the light. The galaxy had laughed at them. But now, for the first time in living memory, the galaxy trembled. The wreckage of the battle floated silently in the void. Broken alien cruisers drifted like corpses, their lights fading one by one. For the first time in centuries, a council fleet had been defeated, and by a single human ship. The galaxy could not believe it. But far from the battlefield, in the shining chambers of the Galactic Council, the laughter had turned to anger. Holoscreens showed the destruction, the shattered ships, the human vessel standing unharmed among ruins. Council members shouted over one another, their voices filled with disbelief and rage. "This is unacceptable," roared one. "A primitive race cannot hold such power." "They were supposed to be weak," said another, her voice sharp with fear. "We mocked them openly. How could they survive against so many ships?" The Supreme Counselor, an ancient being whose kind had ruled longer than humanity had existed, raised his hand for silence. His voice was deep and cold. "This is not weakness we see. This is deception. The humans hid their strength, and now they reveal it. We cannot allow such a threat to rise." The chamber fell quiet. Everyone understood the meaning. Humanity had to be crushed before it grew too bold. Back aboard the Dauntless, Captain Elias already knew the Council's response before their decision was made. He stood on the bridge, watching the data feeds as his crew picked up movements across the galaxy. "They are gathering fleets," reported the first officer. "Dozens of worlds are sending ships. They will come for us." Elias gave a slow nod. His voice was calm, but there was no softness in it. "Good. Let them come. They must see." The crew exchanged uneasy glances, but none questioned him. They trusted their captain, and more importantly, they trusted the plan they had carried in silence for years. The Dauntless moved away from the battlefield, gliding into the dark between stars. Alien ships trailed it from a distance, too frightened to engage, too curious to leave. The humans ignored them. Their destination was already chosen. Far ahead, a great beacon shone in space, the world of Vares, one of the Council's core planets. A shining jewel of towers and lights, filled with billions of citizens who believed the Council was unshakable. It was here that Elias would deliver his next message. As the Dauntless entered the system, alarms rang across every defense station. Fleets rose to meet it, vast formations of ships armed with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. But the human vessel did not flinch. On the bridge, the science officer whispered, "There are hundreds of them, Captain. More than we've ever faced." Elias's answer was simple. "Then hundreds will learn the truth." The alien commander of the defense fleet stepped forward on the channel. His image appeared as a towering reptilian figure, armored in ceremonial steel. His voice was full of contempt. "Human vessel, you stand in forbidden space. You have attacked the council. Surrender now, or you will be destroyed." Elias did not move. His expression was calm, almost cold. "We will not surrender. We came to speak, and you will listen." The alien commander's laughter filled the bridge. "Speak? You dare to speak after destroying our fleet? You are nothing but vermin in a toy ship. This will be your grave." The channel cut. The alien fleet advanced, weapons armed. The void lit with the fire of war. The first wave of missiles struck the Dauntless. Shields flared, holding strong. Plasma beams slashed across its hull, leaving scars but no weakness. The humans did not fire back immediately. They held their silence, letting the aliens pour their fury into the storm. Then, Elias gave the order. His voice was soft, but his words carried iron. "Show them the second answer." The ship responded. Hidden bays opened, releasing drones unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They were small, black, and silent, swarms of them, moving with deadly precision. The aliens fired upon them, but the drones dodged, weaving through fire like shadows. And then they struck. Alien warships exploded one by one, their engines torn apart, their weapons cut to pieces. The drones moved like blades, slicing through ships that had once been considered invincible. Panic filled the Council fleet as formation collapsed. On Varys below, billions of citizens looked to the skies and saw fire raining down. For the first time in their lives, they realized their council was not untouchable. Fear spread faster than any weapon. The alien commander's voice returned on the channel, filled with desperation. "Stop. Stop this madness. What do you want?" Elias finally spoke, his eyes cold as stone. "We want respect. We want truth. We want the galaxy to understand, humanity does not kneel." His words echoed across every frequency, reaching the ears of soldiers, citizens, and leaders alike. The drones pulled back, forming a silent wall around the Dauntless. Elias did not order the destruction of the planet, though he could have. He left it untouched, a message carved into every survivor's memory. The battle ended not with conquest, but with revelation. The humans had proved they were not prey. They were something far greater. On the bridge, silence filled the air. The crew looked to Elias, waiting for his next command. He stood tall, his gaze fixed on the stars. "They will come again," he said. "They will bring everything they have. But we are ready. And when they arrive, we will show them not just our strength, but why humanity survived where others fell." Far away, in council chambers, leaders whispered in fear. The laughter of old was gone. The name of humanity had changed forever. And in the dark, the storm grew closer. The world of Varys burned with fear long after the human ship left its orbit. The people who had once worshipped the power of the council now whispered about the strange vessel that had humiliated their fleets. Across markets, homes, and military stations, one question spread like wildfire. Who are the humans really? In the chambers of the Galactic Council, silence ruled. For centuries, the chamber had been filled with pride, with voices speaking of dominance and glory. Now the screens above them replayed images of the dauntless destroying fleets, surviving impossible fire, and standing untouched before billions of eyes. The silence was heavy, poisoned with fear and anger. The Supreme Counselor broke it at last. "This cannot be allowed to continue. If the humans spread, if their strength grows, every world under our banner will begin to doubt us. Fear will turn to rebellion. We cannot lose control." A voice from the shadows agreed. "Then we crush them. Not one fleet. Not 10. We gather everything. We show them the full strength of the galaxy." The chamber shook with the force of alien voices, some fearful, some eager. A final decision was made. A war unlike any the galaxy had seen would begin. Back on the Dauntless, Captain Elias already expected this. He stood on the bridge, looking at the stars through the wide glass of the viewport. His officers brought reports one by one, their faces tense. "They are calling the assembly of arms," said the first officer. "Not just council fleets. Every allied species is being summoned. Hundreds of fleets. Maybe thousands." The science officer's voice was lower, almost uncertain. "They see us as the end of their power. They will not stop. They will throw everything at us, Captain." Elias nodded, his eyes never leaving the stars. "Good. Let them gather. Let them believe they have a chance." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. They knew their captain had planned this, but even they wondered if one ship, no matter how powerful, could face the storm of an entire galaxy. Elias finally turned, his voice calm but edged with steel. "Do not forget who we are. The Council sees only a ship. They do not see the truth. We are not alone. We never were." The words hung in the air, confusing to some, comforting to others. But Elias gave no explanation. While the galaxy prepared for war, the Dauntless moved deeper into the uncharted dark. Its journey took it to hidden places, far from the eyes of the Council. In the silence of a dead system, the ship lowered into orbit around a broken planet. The crew whispered among themselves. Few knew the meaning of this place, but Elias knew. Here, long ago, the first human experiments with forbidden technology had taken root. Buried deep beneath the planet's crust were vaults of knowledge, waiting for the day humanity would need them again. The captain led his officers into the vault. Inside, ancient machines hummed to life as if they had been waiting for centuries. Blue light filled the chambers. Strange weapons, devices, and cores of energy glowed with a power far beyond anything the Council understood. "This," Elias said quietly, "is our inheritance. The galaxy believes we are young. They believe we are children at their gates. But long before they mocked us, we walked paths they feared to touch." The crew listened, awe filling their eyes. Some of them had doubted. Some had feared. But standing in the vault, surrounded by the living proof of their hidden strength, their doubts burned away. When they returned to the Dauntless, their hearts were steel. Far away, the galaxy gathered. Fleets rose from every world, stretching across the stars like a storm of steel. Massive battleships, carriers, and swarms of fighters filled the void. For the first time in history, every major race stood together under one banner, to crush humanity. The Council broadcast their declaration across all channels. Humans are a threat to all. They are deceivers, wielders of forbidden weapons, liars who bring chaos. The galaxy unites to destroy them before they destroy us. Billions cheered. Billions more trembled. On the bridge of the Dauntless, the crew listened to the broadcast in silence. Finally, the first officer asked, "Captain, do we truly face them all?" Elias's eyes burned with quiet fire. "We do. And they will learn the truth. The galaxy thinks we are one ship, one people. They are wrong. Humanity is more than Earth, more than this vessel. We are everywhere, and we are ready." The crew felt the weight of his words. For the first time, they understood that Dauntless was not a lone ship. It was a signal, a spark. And in the darkness of space, sparks become fire. The Council fleets prepared for war. The humans prepared for revelation. And in the quiet between stars, the galaxy held its breath. The galaxy had never seen such a gathering. From every corner of space, fleets arrived, vast armadas of alien warships stretching farther than the eye could see. The void shimmered with the glow of engines, weapons, and banners of dozens of species. Some ships were the size of cities, carrying whole armies within their hulls. Others were sleek hunters, fast and deadly. Together, they formed a wall of power, united under one purpose: to crush humanity before it could rise. At the center of this storm stood the flagship of the Supreme Counselor. Its silver hull gleamed like a blade, and inside, alien commanders argued over strategy. Many still felt rage, others fear, but all agreed on one thing: this time, the humans would be wiped away. "They are only one ship," growled a reptilian general. "Even with their tricks, they cannot face this." "Then why did a single ship defeat fleets before?" hissed another. "Do not underestimate them again." The Supreme Counselor raised a hand. "Enough. We will not be mocked again. We strike with everything, and we do not stop until there is nothing left." The order was given. The galaxy prepared to burn. Far away, in the shadows of a dead system, the Dauntless waited. Its crew stood ready, watching reports of the gathering armada. The science officer's voice trembled as he read the numbers. "Hundreds of fleets, Captain. Thousands of ships. More weapons than we have ever faced." The first officer looked at Elias with steady eyes. "No ship can face that alone." Elias turned slowly. His voice was calm, but heavy with meaning. "We are not alone." The crew exchanged confused looks. But before anyone could speak, the stars around them began to change. One by one, lights appeared in the darkness. At first, they looked like distant stars, but then engines flared, hulls shimmered, and shapes emerged. Ships. Dozens. Hundreds. Human ships. They came in silence, rising from hidden points across the void, their hulls marked with the same quiet strength as the Dauntless. Some were small, fast as shadows. Others were great carriers, bristling with weapons no alien had ever seen. They had been hidden for years, scattered across forgotten systems, waiting for this very moment. The crew of the Dauntless stared in awe. "Impossible," whispered the science officer. "I thought we were the last." Elias shook his head. "We were never the last. Humanity has always been many." While the galaxy laughed, we built in silence. While they mocked, we prepared. Now they will see. The human fleet formed around the Dauntless, engines burning with resolve. For the first time, the galaxy's mocking laughter had no meaning. Humanity had revealed its strength. And just in time, the alien armada arrived, filling the system with a storm of warships. The sky itself seemed to shatter under their numbers. Commanders barked orders, soldiers prepared for glory, and weapons charged across thousands of vessels. The Supreme Counselor's voice echoed across the void. "Humans, you will not survive this day. You are a mistake of history, and we will erase you. This is the judgment of the galaxy." The channel cut. The silence before the storm was crushing. On the Dauntless, Elias stood tall. His crew looked to him, fear and courage mixing in their eyes. "Captain," the first officer asked quietly, "what if this is too much, even for us?" Elias's voice was steady as stone. "Then we burn so brightly they can never forget us. But I tell you this, we are not the prey here. We are the hunters. Remember that." The human fleet spread into formation, engines glowing, weapons armed. Across the stars, the alien armada moved like a tidal wave, unstoppable and endless. Then the first shot was fired. A beam of plasma tore through space, striking a human frigate. The shields flared, holding strong, but the message was clear: the war had begun. The humans answered at once. From the Dauntless and its sisters, weapons of strange design lit the void. Silent beams cut through enemy shields. Swarms of drones streaked forward, weaving between alien fire, tearing ships apart with surgical precision. The human fleet fought with a cold, terrifying efficiency, every movement calculated, every strike deliberate. But the enemy was vast. For every alien ship destroyed, 3 more took its place. The void shook with endless fire. Explosions painted the darkness in red and silver. Whole squadrons of human ships were surrounded, their shields burning under the pressure. On the bridge of the Dauntless, alarms screamed. The science officer shouted, "We cannot hold them all." Elias's eyes narrowed. He gave the order without hesitation. "Then we show them the third answer." Deep within the Dauntless, hidden systems roared to life. The ship began to glow with a strange light, brighter than any star. Energy readings spiked so high that alien sensors shattered. Across the armada, voices cried out in confusion. What is that? Impossible, no reactor can hold that power. But the humans knew. It was no simple reactor. It was something older, something drawn from the vaults of forgotten history. A weapon the galaxy had never dared to build. The Dauntless turned toward the heart of the alien armada, and the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The Dauntless burned like a new star in the darkness. Its hull glowed with white fire, lines of light racing across its surface like veins of living energy. The human crew felt the vibration of power deep in their bones, and for a moment even they were struck with awe. Alien scanners went wild. Numbers broke. Systems shut down. Commanders shouted in disbelief as their fleets tried to understand what was happening. No ship can carry that much energy. This is madness, its core should have collapsed already. But the Dauntless did not collapse. It changed. From the heart of the vessel, massive wings of light spread outward, not physical metal, but pure energy shaped into blades. They stretched far into space, glowing like burning suns. The alien fleets faltered, their formations breaking as fear spread faster than any weapon. On the bridge, Elias stood calm, though the light from the core bathed his face in white fire. "Target the center of their fleet," he ordered. His voice was steady, almost cold. "Let them see the third answer." The ship obeyed. A single pulse burst from the Dauntless. It was silent, without flash or thunder, yet its effect was louder than 1,000 explosions. Alien warships in the center of the armada simply ceased to exist. One moment they filled the void, engines roaring, weapons charged. The next, they were gone, erased, as if the universe had swallowed them whole. Gasps filled alien bridges. Commanders froze. Soldiers trembled. No weapon in the galaxy had ever done this. Ships had been destroyed before, yes, but this was different. This was annihilation. The Supreme Counselor himself stared at his screens in silence. His voice, when it came, was low and shaken. "What are these humans?" The Dauntless pulsed again. Another hole tore through the alien armada. Entire squadrons vanished in silence. The balance of the war shifted in seconds. The armada that had been unstoppable, that had stretched farther than eyes could see, was now broken, scattered, bleeding from wounds it could not heal. But the humans paid a price. On the bridge, alarms screamed. The science officer shouted, "Core output unstable. We cannot hold this power for long." Elias nodded, his expression grim. "I know. This weapon was never meant for endurance. One strike more. Then we return to the hunt." The crew hesitated. To use the power again risked destroying them all. But no one argued. They trusted their captain, as they always had. "Prepare the final pulse," Elias commanded. The light inside the Dauntless grew brighter, brighter still, until even the crew had to shield their eyes. Across the alien armada, voices filled the channels with panic. "Fall back. Shut down their core. Stop them. Run." The Dauntless released the third pulse. The void itself seemed to split apart. Thousands of alien ships dissolved into nothingness. Waves of silence spread across the system as engines died and weapons fell quiet. The once proud armada was no longer a storm, it was a ruin, broken and scattered. The humans had shown the galaxy what true power meant. But inside the Dauntless, systems failed one by one. Sparks flew across consoles. The hull trembled. The ship groaned as if torn apart from within. The first officer turned to Elias, her voice tight. "Captain, the core is collapsing. If we don't shut it down, we'll be destroyed with them." Elias's gaze was steady. "Shut it down. We've shown enough." The order was carried out. Slowly, painfully, the white fire faded. The wings of energy folded back into silence. The Dauntless dimmed, returning to the form of a scarred but standing ship. Silence followed. The alien survivors dared not attack again. Their fleets pulled back, engines flaring in desperate retreat. For the first time in history, the united power of the galaxy had faced defeat. And not just defeat, humiliation. On the bridge, the crew sat in silence. Some trembled, some whispered, others simply stared. They had survived the impossible. They had done what no one thought could ever be done. Elias stood tall, his eyes cold. They will return. They will call us monsters, liars, thieves of forbidden fire. But they will not forget this day. Humanity's name is no longer one of weakness. It is one of fear. His first officer asked softly, "And us, Captain? What happens now?" Elias looked out at the stars. His voice was calm, but beneath it burned a storm. "Now," he said, "we wait. The galaxy must decide. Will it keep fighting us? Or will it finally listen?" The stars flickered in silence, as if they too were waiting for the answer. The galaxy was silent. Where once there had been laughter, arrogance, and endless mockery of humanity, now there was only fear. The Council's greatest armada had been shattered, thousands of ships erased as if they had never existed. Survivors limped home with broken hulls and broken spirits, carrying one truth that spread across every world. The humans cannot be defeated. In markets and homes, whispers grew louder. On distant colonies, soldiers who once believed in the Council's power now questioned everything. Some spoke of humans as monsters. Others spoke of them as saviors. But all agreed, the galaxy would never be the same again. Inside the chambers of the Galactic Council, anger and fear boiled together. Commanders argued, leaders shouted, but none had answers. "They are too dangerous to exist," one cried. "We must destroy them at any cost," another demanded. But others, quieter, spoke the words none wished to admit. "We tried. We failed. If we fight again, we may lose everything." The Supreme Counselor sat in silence, his ancient eyes shadowed with doubt. For the first time in centuries, he felt the weight of defeat. Far away, aboard the Dauntless, Captain Elias stood on his bridge. His ship was damaged, its hull scarred, its systems weakened. Yet it still lived. And more than that, it had become a symbol. Reports flooded in. Across hidden channels, human colonies and fleets revealed themselves. They had been silent for decades, scattered in the dark, building in secret. Now, encouraged by the victory of the Dauntless, they came forward. Humanity was not one ship. Humanity was everywhere. The first officer approached Elias. "Captain, the galaxy is watching. Billions saw what we did. What message do we send them?" Elias's eyes were steady. The truth. He ordered the transmission prepared. Across every open channel, across every star system, the message of humanity was broadcast. Citizens, soldiers, leaders, all heard the calm voice of Captain Elias. "We did not come to destroy. We did not come to conquer. We came because you mocked us. You called us weak, unworthy, less than you. But now you see, we are not weak. We are not children. We are human. And humanity does not kneel." His words spread like fire. On some worlds, they sparked anger. On others, they brought hope. For those long oppressed by the Council's rule, the message was a call to rise. The Council tried to block the transmission, but it was too late. The truth had already escaped their grasp. On the bridge of the Dauntless, the crew listened in silence. Some smiled with pride, others wiped tears from their eyes. They had seen the cost of the war, the lives lost, the power unleashed. But now, for the first time, they felt they were not fighting in shadows. The galaxy finally saw them for what they were. Still, the science officer's voice was uncertain. "Captain, if the Council strikes again, if they truly bring everything, can we win?" Elias looked at him, his eyes calm. "We do not need to win every battle. We only need to remind them, again and again, that we will never break. Fear is already on our side. Doubt is already inside their hearts. That is how we win." Outside, the human fleet gathered, more ships arriving each day. What had once been a single vessel was now an armada of its own. The galaxy had thought humanity was scattered and small. Now it saw a storm rising. And yet, Elias knew the war was not finished. The council would not surrender so easily. They would scheme, they would strike, they would try to twist the truth. But the galaxy had changed. Even if humanity fell tomorrow, its mark was already written in the stars. The first officer stepped closer, her voice quiet but strong. "Captain, after all this, do you think they will ever respect us?" Elias turned to the window, watching the endless sea of stars. His answer was steady, carved in iron. "They already do. They just don't want to admit it." Silence filled the bridge, heavy but peaceful. The crew knew the truth of his words. Respect had been won, not with begging, not with treaties, but with blood and fire. The Dauntless drifted forward, its scarred hull glowing faintly in the light of distant suns. Around it, the human fleet spread wide, a shield of defiance against a galaxy that had once laughed at them. Now, no one laughed. For the first time in history, the galaxy feared humanity. And for the first time, humanity was ready to be feared.